Okay, well, welcome. This is our very first webinar here at Leo. So we're really excited, super glad to have everybody here and participate, especially on a Friday night. Um, so let's get started with just a brief agenda. So first things first, we'll kind of introduce the Leo team to everyone. And we have three really talented marketers who are here with us tonight who are panelists, and we're going to have a brief Q&A with all three of them, which we're really excited about. So if you guys are um, kind of planning on the Q&A and you're really excited about that, start now by typing some questions in the chat that you have related to digital marketing, because we're going to be picking some questions from the chat. So if you have one, start typing right now while I'm explaining this. Um, After the Q&A, we will have our campaign creation competition. So we'll kind of go over the rundown of that, how it's going to work, explain everything to you guys. Then we just have some notes on the Leo product as a whole. We won't be using the full product today, just a few parts of it. So we want to make sure that you guys get the full demo. And then we'll be going over the results. So, really excited to get started. First, let's meet the Leo team. So, joining us today on the call, we have Connor Holland, who is co-founder and CEO. Um, Say hello, Connor.
Hello,
There
glad to
he
be
is.
here.
We also have Josh Garbullo, who is our co-founder and CFO.
Hi, everyone.
And Brandon Benson, who is co-founder and CTO, is here as well. And we also have Avery Olson, who's our founding head of brand and creative.
Hello.
And Spencer Mitten, who is our founding engineer. I don't know if Spencer can unmute right now because I know he was traveling, but he says hello. Trust me. He's happy to be here with you guys too. And then my name is Taylor Olson. I'm the founding member and CMO here at Leo. So really excited now to introduce our panelists who we have today. So first we have Paxton Gray, who is the CEO of 97th Floor, and Paxton is the CEO, of course, of the award-winning digital marketing agency 97th Floor. He's responsible for ensuring the agency carries out its mission to elevate people and brands we believe in, building marketing campaigns for some of the world's biggest enterprises like Google, Zoom, and ServiceNow. Paxton has been a featured speaker at industry conferences across the US, sharing insights learned through years of client work. So, welcome, Paxton. We're really excited to have you here.
Yeah, great to be
Um,
here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, next we have Derek. So, Derek, maybe you chose to wear a shirt to the webinar, unlike your LinkedIn profile picture, which is awesome. I love this profile picture so much. But Derek is a hands-on marketing leader who has worked in a ton of industries, from food trucks to deodorant for your private parts. He's currently running acquisition marketing at Sunrun and tried to find time every day to look and experiment with new AI workflows, which often turns to doom scrolling. So, welcome, Derek. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, no problem. And just FYI, I am not wearing a shirt. I am in the sauna at the moment.
Good to know. That's awesome. And last but not least, we have Rob Lamb, who is the VP of Marketing at Blueshift. And Rob has 10 plus years of experience delivering full service marketing solutions across a range of industries. Before joining Blueshift, Mr. Lamb successfully founded and managed his own marketing agency, successfully managing comprehensive marketing campaigns for companies in numerous B2B and B2C sectors, including finance, education, real estate, retail sales, and more. So, Rob, thanks so much for being here as well.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Nice. So I have a question to kick us off for this portion of the webinar. So obviously, Leo is an AI marketing company. So you guys all have very diverse backgrounds when it comes to marketing. So I'm very curious, how have you guys seen AI change your workflows in marketing? And I'd love to start with Paxton to hear what you have to say, how it's kind of impacted your workflows over at 97th Floor.
Yeah, so I'd say it's had a tremendous impact and continues to have an impact. Obviously there's a big impact on the marketing side, but just speaking about workflows, yeah, we're using it for RFPs, um, uh, research, assimilation of data. Initially we got really into like custom GPTs, and we've since moved away from that. Um, some combination of like Notebook LM for like heavy research stuff, and then Claude Cowork is kind of where I'm currently diving a lot deeper into to help automate some tasks. So yeah, it's kind of impacting every aspect of what we do. I just put together some content. It helped a ton with the research. I still I don't use content or AI to just generate content, but it can really help in sort of outlining and research. Um, yeah, I use it in the sales process pretty heavily. So yeah, absolutely, it's saved a ton of time.
Okay. And so, Rob, I'm curious, since you're more heads down at Blueshift, how has it impacted kind of the in-house marketing with like helping you with your workflows and things like that?
Yeah, I'd say at Blueshift, it's kind of interesting. We kind of been using AI here and there in our marketing up until fairly recently, where we're sort of working on launching an entire new brand under the Blueshift umbrella. So that's necessitating, we're starting from scratch essentially. Everything from we did not use AI to create the new logo for the new brand that we're launching, but everything else in terms of helping us develop talking points and like a brand communication guide, brand style guide, moving into creating actual pieces of marketing collateral, be that like social media images or data sheets, white papers, things along those lines. So that's really where I'm focusing on using it now. So it's kind of an interesting use case because it's, essentially it's giving me the opportunity to, I'd say, dig quite deep. And instead of using AI, just to do some fairly simple things like help me, proofread or copyright an email or a LinkedIn post, something like that, really expanding the use of AI to essentially try to touch all areas of, you can imagine if you're launching a brand that necessitates so much stuff from building a website to coming up with messaging, so on and so forth. So I'd say that's kind of it's an interesting use case. I would say, at least for me, because it's the first time I'm kind of using AI almost from the ground up. If that makes sense for launching this new brand that we're working on at the moment. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that's kind of, I think, an interesting interesting way of using AI that I have not used it yet before. So it's requiring me and us here at Blueshift learn how to become, pretty high level users of AI rather than just kind of simple, copyright an ad, tweak a headline, so on and so forth.
No, that makes sense. And so Derek, you're kind of at the middle of this where you work a lot with Sunrun, but you're also kind of doing freelance and other things with other brands. How have you been using AI in your marketing workflows?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I've been doing, but I know that what really helps right now is that there's often blockers when it comes to any kind of project that you're working on. And I mean, my favorite thing about AI so far is that the blockers are becoming less of blockers, right? Like sometimes, maybe I'm 50% of the way through getting an account set up and I've run into some copy issues. Rather than, send it over to a copywriting team and have wait for a response and have them write something and then edit it, I can put my first round of copy together with AI, make edits where I think it makes sense, but then send that over and say, hey, you like this, or do you want to make a change to it? And then rather than back and forth 3 or 4 times, they either proof what I do or redo it or whatever they do, and the step moves on a little bit quicker. But I'll give you an example last night, something that was super cool. I'd consider myself a B to a B minus paid search guy. I'm more of a paid social person, but I think I spent 2.5 hours last night digging into a bunch of SEMrush research for paid search, kind of distilling. I mean, I researched a bunch of competitors for a client. I distilled all of that information into like a big, like a focused way that I might want to run a paid search for the client. And then I logged into Manus. It put together this really great report on exactly all the things that I should do to get this paid search campaign up and running. It flagged a few areas that I was probably missing myself. And then I logged into my Google ad account via Manus and it created all the ads for me. Like the actual creation part probably would have taken me 2.5 hours, and I just walked away from the computer and it did it itself, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's that's definitely a super helpful workflow time saver that I've noticed too is deep research and reporting. So on that same note, I know a lot of our viewers tonight who are joining us for this call either are interested in starting a business soon or they're already kind of in the early stages with their business where they're kind of unsure, like, should I do my own marketing? Should I hire an agency to do some of these pieces of marketing that I need to get done? I'm curious from your perspective, and anyone feel free to jump in here, but where should these business owners and future business owners plan on really diving deep on AI? And where should they think more of kind of like doing things more a traditional way and either partnering with an agency or just doing research kind of on their own?
I could jump in here. First, I'd say, if I was maybe talking to one of my brothers who are thinking about starting a business, I would say absolutely do not hire an agency when you're starting a business. That would be a terrible mistake. And the main reason being, marketing is one of the core functions of like a successful business. And at the very outset, it's extremely important that you have very like your finger on the pulse of the market. And the way that you get a better finger on that pulse is by putting stuff out, seeing what the market resonates and what they don't resonate with. And you want to be doing that, in my opinion, as a founder at the very beginning. Once you've found that and you're ready to scale, at that point, I would look at bringing some other outside help on to grow that. And I think that relates to AI in terms of where you should be diving in. And one of the core beliefs that we've had as we've approached AI is Naval said, like a good quote based off of a Steve Jobs quote about the personal computer. He says that Steve Jobs says that personal computer is like a bicycle for the mind, and Naval said that AI is like a motorcycle for the mind. So really, the AI should become an amplification of your taste. And so developing the taste is really the key skill. Like a great designer, I want that great designer to be jumping deep into AI in design. A bad designer, it's like you can put whatever AI you want, it's not going to be good. So really what becomes valuable as time goes on is, do you have or do you not have taste? So yeah, I don't know if that's helpful in terms of where to dive in an AI, but like that's the skill to develop. And that taste really, it goes back to my first point. Taste is knowing the market and understanding what they're going to resonate with. And the more you know that, then AI just becomes this amplification of something really great. But you got to develop that taste first.
Yeah, excellent point. Derek, I saw you were celebrating during that with the emoji. Did you have an additional thought there?
I don't know. I just agreed. Like that taste is where it starts, right? Like it's really hard to get something good out of AI without knowing what it is that you're actually trying to get out of it. And I do find myself a lot like, when I'm going to try to do something new, whatever I come up with myself, I'm often sharing it with whatever model I'm using at the time and just saying like, hey, evaluate the goal of whatever I'm working on, this video, this social post, this email, this campaign, and rate how I'm doing versus that goal on what I'm doing. And if you could do a third option, let's say I've got two for myself, what would be your third option and why? And it's really interesting just to see some of the stuff that you'll get back from that. And so often coming up with that first or second round for myself and just seeing how the models sort of agree or disagree with me, and almost always putting one in as a A/B test to just say, does the AI know what it's talking about? And 20-30% of the time it does better, but it's good to just use it as a partner to keep yourself honest.
Yeah, I think, well, in terms of the AI, one thing that's been helpful for me is I've taken some like AI boot camps that have been quite helpful for me. Anyone can go into Chat GPT and say, do this, right? Or Claude or whatever your model is, right? At least in my experience, sometimes that would give me what I wanted. Sometimes you end up just re-prompting it, a dozen times and you're not really getting what you want out of it. So you end up kind of arguing with the AI. And so what I've been focusing on and what I would recommend to, I guess, maybe anybody on the call or business owners that are looking to use AI is, I've heard the analogy, AI is sort of like baking a cake, like anybody can use an easy bake oven, right? But only a few people can make like, these 17-layer cakes you see like featured on whatever, the like cooking channel, cook caking competitions, you know what I mean? And so I think, to get the most out of AI, whether that's you're a business owner or a marketer, learning how these tools work, learning how to prompt them correctly so you can get that like master level cake out of it rather than just getting like an easy bake oven version of a cake, if you follow the analogy. So I would say if you're going to be using AI, obviously there's opportunities across all areas of the business, whether it's marketing or finance or sales or HR or whatever, you know what I mean? But I would say to dedicate time into learning how to become an expert user of AI rather than someone who just does a simple prompt and sometimes they get what they want, sometimes they don't. So whether that's, just doing your own research online or attending things like this or finding, some boot camps or what have you, that can really teach you how to master some of these very powerful tools that are out there. To me, I found that to be quite valuable. And I've noticed it's increased the quality and the consistency of the work or the results that I can get from these AI models. I'll be frank, it has taken some time to learn these things, but now that, I feel like I've been able to learn how to interact with AI at a more advanced level, I'm able to produce at a much higher quality and a much higher volume. So I would recommend just investing time in not just interacting with these AI tools, but learning how to interact with them properly so you can get a high quality output.
Yeah.
And that could also go, for other employees that you have, if they're using AI, maybe encourage them or pay for them to attend some kind of advanced training. So when they're using AI, they're getting the most efficient output rather than just spending all day kind of reprompting and reprompting and reprompting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do need to move on, but before we do, we have one question from Mara in the chat. And they ask, what does your workflow typically look like when you need to create visual content for multiple buyer personas at scale? And how are you using AI across that process?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have a lot to add in terms of creating visual. I personally don't do design or I'm also not too deep into our designers' workflows. But I think Leo does something similar to this, so maybe this is a really great segue into the platform.
Yeah, I'll just say
Did you,
like,
did you guys just plant Mara in the
yeah.
comments there?
We
like
did.
it's funny. I've been looking at a bunch of different workflows where people were creating creative at scale using AI all at once, where they've got like I saw this cool thing in Airtable the other day where somebody had, 40 rows of different things that like they were, one of the columns was a specific persona, one of the columns were like, hooks or angles or offers or whatever, and it would roll up all of those inputs into creative um, in a cell all the way to the right of all of these columns. And it looked cool. Like it kind of looked neat to like control slightly the 40 outcomes that you were going to get when you hit run and you ran AI on all that stuff. Um, but what I didn't see at the end of that workflow was whether or not any of that creative actually was quality at the end of it. It was cool to be able to do a bunch at once, but like, you can spend a lot of credits creating videos or images of things that aren't all that great. And so I don't find myself doing anything all at once. If I need 20 images, I'll use AI individually on 20 of those images. But, compared to building those images from scratch to myself, I'm saving a ton of time that way. And the nice thing is that, you find yourself going down the rabbit hole and you find, oh, wait a minute, this looks really good. Or actually, I think I would change this little piece. And then it kind of informs, if that's on creative number 5, it kind of informs creative number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you move forward on 11 through 15 with like a new idea. And so I don't know. I don't know that I'm like super, super high scale a lot. I see a lot of people posting about really high scale stuff, but I'll use AI to kind of help me brief 10 different ways and then use those briefs, one at a time to get a new image or video out of that. But yeah, there's definitely ways to do it at scale, but I'm too scared of using all my tokens to do it that way. So
Yeah. Great. Okay, Rob, before we move on, any last thoughts there?
No, I think I would echo. I think it was Derek who was just speaking. The at scale thing with the question. I think the obviously the challenge is the at scale and doing multiple at scale. I would sort of echo. Again, I think it was Derek who was talking. I tend not to, like he said. You could use up a lot of credits doing that, and at the end, you might find that it didn't give you what you want, and then you're out all those credits, right? So I understand the need to do things at scale, but in terms of specifically visual content at scale for so many different multiple personas, I guess me personally, I wouldn't approach it, myself. Well, one, in my day job, I don't have, so we do have a couple of different personas, but it's not dozens, it's maybe like 5 or 6, I would say. So I'm not having to really face this challenge in my day to day. But even for the 5 or 6 personas that we are going towards, I tend to focus on each of them individually rather than, I wish there was like a magic press go button. Maybe one exists, or an easy button. I haven't found one yet that I would trust to do everything for. I'm imagining this as like dozens of personas at once. I haven't found a solution for that. One might exist, but just in my day to day, I haven't really had the need to search for it. And two, I wouldn't just personally, I'd rather oversee, the creation of, one of those one round of creative for each persona at a time rather than kind of doing it all at once, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you so much for your questions, everyone. And if you just wish that this part of the call would never end, then scan these QR codes and you can follow these guys all on LinkedIn, where they will continue to impart their wisdom upon you. So I'll give you a minute to scan that. Next, we're going to get into the workshop and contest. So what we'll do now is I'll kick it over to Josh and Connor, who are going to kind of explain the next steps on that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Taylor. Hello, everyone. Excited to get into the competition. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to share my screen and let me know if you guys can see it. Give me a quick thumbs up if you guys are good. Amazing. Cool. This is going to be so fun. So I am going to walk you through really quickly how to create your own Leo account. Don't worry, it's free. And you can then get started with workshopping some different ideas for the competition. And someone will go away with $500 on a Friday. Infinite possibilities. And so what you're going to want to do is go to leoads.ai. Someone can drop it in the chat in Zoom for me. So you're just going to log in, or yeah, exactly. Perfect. So quick thumbs up if we're good there. Going to leoads.ai, and you should see a screen like this. Amazing. And so once you do that, then you'll go to sign up. It's in the top right-hand corner, and let me actually log out of here. Cool. So you should go and you should be able to see this screen when you click in the upper right-hand side, sign up. And then once when you get here, you're gonna click this little guy right here, need an account. And this is perfect. This is right where you want to be. So you can either sign in with your Google if you have that, or like your LinkedIn, or if you don't have any of those, no worries. You can just put in your email. So I can do this. Perfect. And feel free to have any questions, or if something's not working for you, we also have a help desk too that you can just ping Taylor. Amazing. So here's my email. I'm gonna also fill out a password. And this will be really cool, so you can have your own workspace and you can try out some of these things. So amazing. And once when you do that, then you should receive a code, and you'll have to just go quickly to your email and get it. So I'm just going to fill in my code and then click verify. And once when we're there, hardest part's over. We're going to be going in. So feel free if anybody's lost at this point, happy to go over another step, but pretty straightforward. You just put in your email, password, get that verification code, put it right there. And then amazing. So then you're going to put your company, and this is your company. So if you, yeah, please put in whatever one you'd want to come back to. So, I mean, just for the sake of argument, I'll put Nike, and I'll do Nike.com. Amazing. Cool. So you'll just click submit there. And this last question is just so Leo kind of knows how to talk to you and what level of expertise you have. So I will put a business owner. I'm not as cool as the marketers here in the room. And then amazing. You can also choose to connect your ad account if you have one for Meta. If not, no worries. You can click finish, but it's just a little bit easier when you have a Meta account set up. You can take advantage of all the capabilities. Cool. And so I'm just going to connect my Meta account really quickly, but you don't have to. No worries if you don't have one. And I'll select the Fibonacci partners. Awesome. Very cool. And feel free, if you have any questions at any time, let me know. But we also, for those people who are wanting to connect all of your data, we have GA4 and HubSpot connections available too, which is pretty cool. So that's it. You click finish, and bam, you have your own Leo account. How exciting is that? So now it's just going to be loading a couple things in the in our account. So wow, that's super fast. It was able to load your entire Meta Ads account. And so you can see all of it. You can click into your campaign, your ad set, your ad. Leo has all of that context, all that knowledge of what's in your Meta Ads account. So you can do anything, build campaigns instantly. You can draw insights from them, figure out your best creatives, your winning hooks, all that stuff. You also will be whenever you generate any reports, or Leo's also looking through your data while you're 24/7 while you're asleep. So all these reports will be here when you wake up. And then also there's some cool raw assets. So any creative stuff like your branding, your ads that are currently live on Meta, all of that stuff will be automatically loaded here for you. And you also have some raw assets like your logo. So because I said Nike, it automatically fetched the Nike logo, which is pretty cool. So just to get us started off, and before I forget, so this whole left portion is like your marketing stack. This central part's kind of like where you can see all of the information very nicely. You can see the all of the data and your reporting. And then also on the right is your command center. It's where you can ask for stuff. So I can quickly get us started off here. So you can tell me about my brand. And then Leo should be able to go and tell you a little bit more. So Leo kind of talks you through a lot of the research and you can your brand identity. And that's what I think a lot of AI tools don't always get super well is, your brand. And as marketers, you guys know your brand better than anybody else. So Leo's really there to help you through that. Just a couple other maybe questions. You can make generations. So let's make an optimal creative for my vertical that will convert. Make me a Nike ad. And so just so you can, and of course, I just made this account so you can make it much more customized. But before I kick it off to Connor, let's see if it can get one of these loaded in. Amazing. And also, before I move on, are there any other questions that I can talk about or when setting up the account? Is everyone good? Is everyone excited? It's going to be great. Oh, let's see what it does here. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. That's awesome. So it like fetched the right shoe, which is pretty neat. So in Leo, the cool part about Leo is that it has access to your whole ad account, so you can see what creatives are performing and what aren't. Unfortunately, I'm not cool enough where I have access to Nike's entire ads account, but if it did, it would be able to see which creatives are performing better, translate all that knowledge into making creatives for you, and then you can just create the campaign all through Leo. It's pretty cool. So anyways, I will hand it off to Connor, but the last thing that I'll show you, before I forget, is that for the purpose of this exercise and for the competition, you're actually going to create an additional workspace. And that's just because we want to give you like your kind of webinar one where you're just testing things out, but this is your actual workspace that you can maybe come back to and utilize. So the way you do that is you create your workspace and you can just use Leo. So you can say Leo, click setup, and then, or whichever brand you want, and you'll click Leo ads. This is our website. And then if you wanted to connect an ad account for this, you can, but no worries. The purpose of this is just to kind of workshop some cool ad ideas. And amazing, we have an additional workspace, which is super cool. So you can make as many workspaces as you want. If you're an agency, you can have as many workspaces. If you're a company, you can have as many product lines. It's all super possible, which is neat. Anyways, I will kick it off to Connor, who will explain more about the competition itself. So thanks.
Woo! That was very energizing, Josh. Thank you. Okay, guys, this is going to be epic, and we have some great attendees here, and I can see them all. And you actually have, by sheer probability, a good chance at winning this $500. So make sure that you've created your account and you have a workspace open, so that you can get a shot at this, and the best marketer is going to win. So something to clarify, you probably created your account, or maybe you already have an existing account, which is associated with the company you normally do work with. So maybe it's your agency, maybe it's a brand you're working with. You also should have created a workspace, as Josh was showing you, and that should be for Leo. And the reason, and you could delete that later, but this is just for purposes of the competition. We are all going to be creating a strategy for Leo, our company, and the judges will judge you based on the campaign or the campaign strategy you create for leoads.ai. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Is that clear? We're good there? Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna kick off into the competition. We're gonna go into a breakout room. All right. You guys will be able to unmute. We can ask questions, do that. And you are going to start workshopping this campaign. So that can look like doing initial research, asking Leo, hey, what does my market look like? How should I position my creative content? What would be the best bidding strategy, or campaign optimization type, or budget allocation? Like, you're going to talk through this with Leo and kind of workshop for 10 minutes until you get to a stable idea. You're like, okay, we're going to use these creatives, we're going to use this campaign type, I'm going to deploy this budget. And then so over those 10 minutes or so, you're going to be doing that. And the last 5 minutes, you're going to build it into a report. So Leo has the ability to build a nice report using all this information, which can include attachments to your assets, to the settings you've chosen, all of that. And that will be exported as a PDF which you can just click a button to do and submit it to the judges. So that's how it's going to work.
So great work, guys. Thanks so much for working on that. What we're going to have you do now is download the report. So I can show you really quickly how to do that. First thing that you're going to do, let me share this for you. Um, so click in the three dots once you're in your actual report, and then click download PDF. So before you download it, let's see, how do we, oh, does it auto name it? Okay, so it'll auto name it, but what's really important for us to know who the submission is from is that you rename it the email that you used to sign up for your Leo account. Does that make sense? So go into your computer and click into this file and just rename the file, whatever it is, the email is that you signed up with. Okay, cool. So let me make that breakout room really quick. And then while the judges are reviewing the reports, Josh and Connor were going to showcase some other product features. So I'll kick it over to you guys.
Cool. Thanks so much, Taylor. So yeah, the judges are going to get together and collect and talk about your plan. But in the meantime, we're just going to run through a couple other workflows that you can do with Leo that that could be useful. So I'll just share my screen here really quickly. But don't worry, the prizes will be announced here shortly in the next couple minutes, I think around 10 minutes. And so, yeah, so we are in this account that you just made. So you have your account set up, and you can actually go to whichever workspace you want, but preferably the one that hopefully is about your company. And so you can go back to that one, and Leo can do a lot for you. It has access, at least in our case, our ad account.
Hey,
So for,
Josh,
oh
do you
yeah,
want to show, like, just in case people missed the account connection, maybe show them where they
yes.
can check it out in settings?
Great. Thank you, Connor. Great call
Yeah.
out. So, amazing. So you can go to the bottom left with this little profile right here. If you click on that, then you click on settings. And here you can see your company information. So Leo's already connected to a lot of, like, has your brand basically. It knows all about your business. It knows your mission statement, competitive landscape. Really cool. So it's very informed. You can also put in a budget, but most importantly, you can put in your actual data access. So you can go ahead and click connect. So once you do that, then you'll be prompted to log into your Facebook account. And then once you do that, I can actually just do this right now for you guys so you can see. But when you click connect, then you'll go to a different page. Some people have to sign in. Sometimes you're already signed in. You'll just go through and click reconnect. Amazing. That should work. And then you select account and you'll choose whichever one it pops up. We have several that are part of ours, but you'll go through here and click save and voila, it's done. So you can also connect to your GA4 if that's useful or your HubSpot. So the more data, the merrier for Leo for making sure you're getting the best ads performance. Any questions on that in the chat or anything that didn't quite make sense? Okay, I don't see anything in the chat, but good call out, Connor, there. So hopefully at this point you have your ad account connected, and then it's super cool. You can see different campaigns. The ones that have a green dot to the right are live. So just giving you guys a sneak peek into our ad account. It is here are the ones that we're testing. We had one for Utah marketers. We had one called My Ads Are Better Than Yours. So you can click into the ad and have more details about it. So it should be loading here shortly. Amazing. So you can see how much you spent on it, the return on ad spend, the CTR, how many leads you got. But also this will be true for whatever the goal of the campaign is. It'll give you the right cards, like the relevant metrics. You can also just click to link to see the ad. and it'll show you how it would look for a user who's scrolling on Instagram or Facebook, which is pretty cool. So you can see it like this. So Leo wants to share an ad with you, and this is how it would look. And Leo did all of that, which is pretty cool. And so this is pretty neat. So you can always dig in and see some reporting, but honestly, for us here, it's just easier to ask Leo. So you can say, show me my results, and that'll just load all of your data automatically for you so you can see your reporting and what's driving results for your business or for your marketing campaigns. So it's going to go ahead and get all the campaigns. And also, Connor, feel free to jump in here, or if I'm running over time, feel free to shut me up. But and so yeah, it shows all the different campaigns, which is cool. So the top performer are my ads are better than yours, which makes sense because Taylor is the one who made it, and Taylor's a rock star marketer. And so yeah, outstanding metrics. These are a couple others. Fun fact, Brandon, our CTO, is actually made a lot of these ads because he was interested in learning about the product and what messaging is the best. So you can change your landing page and make people make them convert more. So it's super accessible and easy. And I guess since we're probably running short on time, so you can see, you can get all the insights here, but let's just make a campaign. So let's launch a campaign. And Leo is going to go ahead and set this up for you from end to end. So Leo's going to come up with a strategy just like you guys all did in your small groups. It's going to get all of these ad campaigns, and then it's going to look through all of your assets that you've uploaded, but you can also, so you've generated one at the beginning, this guy, and yeah, we can do, let's do, I want sales, and pixels ready, amazing, and let's do US, target, genders, and then we can do, let's do $50 a day, and use generated asset, and let's go Nike.com. Cool. So amazing. It's going to take in all this information, and it knows all about your business, it knows all about your data, and it's going to go ahead and create the ad campaign. So let's see. Amazing. It found this
Josh,
asset.
I can
Oh yeah.
throw in a fun fact is that we like to share. We're building Leo for marketers, and so you could think about trying to do pieces of this puzzle on Manus or Claude, but we're building it for marketers. And one of the pieces there is the memory. So we're actually building Leo. Just the other day, I was like, hey, I prefer cost per link click instead of the normal CPC, which is all the types of clicks. And then Leo remembers that. And maybe your creative taste. Leo's built to remember that, or your brand conventions, your strategies, the way that you use data on HubSpot. It's meant to remember that. So you don't have to go back to like Claude and re-explain every time all this stuff.
Great call out. Absolutely second that. And so it fits super snugly into your business, your marketing habits, just your taste. So yeah, absolutely. And so once when you like this, you think this looks good, yeah, I want to run this. Let's go ahead and build it. And Leo's gonna actually create the ad for you. So you can, so you won't have to go into the ads manager. And cool. So in the meantime, there's so many other workflows that you can do. You can analyze your competitors, so you can actually scrape your competitors' ads and figure out if they're running anything or if they're scaling up ad spend or kind of what creatives are they doing. All of that stuff, Leo can do that for you automatically, and that's yeah, it usually makes the campaigns better. And amazing. So it's creating the campaign, and we will just sit back and watch here. But awesome. Campaign created. Woohoo! We should get Leo a little prize. And so cool. Validating targeting. And it's just going to go ahead and make all the details. But any questions, I guess, as we wrap this cool webinar up? Questions? No worries. We can just sit back and let
Leo.
Leo do our work.
Josh, I can share something in the meantime if we want to come back to the campaign
Yes.
creation once it's completed.
Love it.
But I would just say one thing that I do a lot, and Taylor mentioned this a little bit ago. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and this is just some kind of fake data pulled, but uh, as business owners, Taylor had mentioned, there might be some people here who are business owners or who are at small companies, and you're very involved in all the details. Leo has been super helpful for us when it comes to looking at like the full picture of the funnel, right? So that's something, no matter what kind of business you are, you're probably concerned with your funnel, right? You have a top of funnel, a middle of funnel, a bottom of funnel, and you want to make sure that like your users who you care so much about aren't just falling out. But it's such like a disparate thing that it can be very hard to know like where people are falling out, why they might be falling out, all of that. And so, because Leo has access not only to your data sources like your CRM, your ad account, and your website traffic, it also has access to these kind of third-party data providers. Like it can scrape LinkedIn. It has deep research tools that can go across the internet and find intent signals. And so you can using Leo sort of piece together this picture of your funnel very easily. I mean, that's something new with AI, right? Like in the past. They are very expensive softwares which enable you to go and find like intent signals and figure out what the full funnel looks like. But you can actually piece that together pretty easily with Leo using the same report flow that you guys were testing out. And so I just wanted to add, like, I've found that to be so useful for our business is like, oh, okay, we have really high bounce rates when people get to the landing page. Why? And then we give that to our tech team, or in your case, maybe you have an IT person or a consultant or a contractor you work with. You're like, hey, can you solve this? And then in, a few hours, you've cleared a critical roadblock in your funnel. So yeah, and now that you have a Leo account, I would just encourage everyone to go out there and ask Leo to help you work out your funnel. And like Josh was showing you with those data connections, like go check your data connections, make sure you have everything connected you can. But figuring out your funnel and where things are falling out is difficult, but it's made so much easier with the advent of this really cool technology that we have in this product, right? But really it's the technology which is exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just to second that from what Connor is saying, once when you come up with these insights, you can actually have them executed. So Leo can fix it for you, which is really new too. So, and just to show you guys the culmination of our efforts, here is our Nike ad ready to go. They'd probably be a little confused because it's Leo that's there for the Nike ad, but it's pretty neat. So Leo actually made this and then can actually activate it, which is pretty cool. So just thought I'd show you guys how you can execute from end to end on Meta ads.
And Kim had a good question here too. She said, will Leo help people that are not marketing experts to make sure they focus on what matters most, like the reasons people buy? And that's such a good question. A lot of our users are, they have like an maybe a very high level understanding of marketing. Like they're good with their brand. They know their people they're selling to, that they're kind of involved, but they're not like Derek, who we were hearing from, who is a die-hard performance marketer. He's awesome, right, on these platforms. So Leo is kind of helping you. It's giving you this intelligence to understand how to do really great performance marketing, even though your expertise lies in being a generalist. So absolutely. And Brandon, I think, answered that too, but that's been a huge use case. Okay, it looks like Manny had a question too. He said, are all the creatives free to use? That is, Leo doesn't source directly from copyrighted creative, correct? So that's a good question. Like in the case of that Nike one, obviously it was pulling assets from Nike, assuming that you were working for Nike. So if you like tricked Leo into thinking that you were a Nike marketer, but you're really like making a knockoff brand of Nike, that would be problematic. But I think that's kind of obvious, right? But yeah, the assets it makes using your branding and all that are totally free to use. They're generated by AI, and so as long as you're using your branding stuff and staying good there, yeah. And that's another cool thing about what we're offering right now is we want people to use the product more and to get excited about it and learn how to use it and really learn how to use AI. So we haven't introduced like limits or credits or things like that right now. So we want you to use the product a lot and generate lots of content and figure out how to make it work for your business. So we're really just trying to put it into people's hands and see what these amazing business owners or marketers can do with it.
Hello, everyone. So we have some results.
Whoa.
So, what we're going to do now is have each of our judges talk about a report that they each really liked. We're not going to reveal the winner just yet, but let's start with Rob.
Yeah, so I reviewed a few of the PDFs, and my favorite one was from Geoffrey Ruck. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. They're all good, of course. I mean, all the ones that I looked at, I think all the ones that I reviewed, they all hit I think there's 5 criteria that Taylor shared at the beginning of the sort of the breakout room part of the meeting. But as someone, I've run quite a few agencies or worked at quite a few agencies in my life, and I've run a couple agencies as well, and I've been in a ton of client meetings. And Jeffrey's ad copy in particular, I felt like it was really just on the nose. Instead of sort of speaking, I don't want to say generically, there's probably a better term, but I'll say generically. Instead of speaking just about the features of Leo, I felt like his ad copy, or Joffrey, I'll speak to you, your ad copy really hit it on the nose. In other words, if somebody is working in a marketing agency or they're a business owner and they've had a marketing agency, the ad copy that you wrote, like I mean, honestly, all 3 or 4 of them that I read, all of them made me laugh out loud, legitimately, because it's things that customers are probably tired of hearing because they hear them so much, or basically, like your ads are almost like inside jokes that only people that have had these pain points would understand. And so I felt like, in addition to the targeting that you had in place and the strategy, I really also liked, I think it was section 5, the key milestones and targets. I liked how you structured that section as well. But I felt like your ad copy itself would really convince the user that this company that's showing me this ad, they really understand my pain points. They're not just saying what the pain point is. They're so confident that they understand my problems, they can even kind of make jokes about it, and inside jokes at that. So I felt like the ad copy of yours really was the best that I reviewed. So that was my favorite one.
Great. Thanks, Rob. And Paxton.
Yeah, so I reviewed another handful, and the one that stood out to me of that group was from Kim Cram. And yeah, really it came down to it was very human centered and both like the setup and then that translated through the copy. Um, so yeah, I felt like it really hit at the heart of a lot of pain points that these people are experiencing. Um, yeah, so it was like very kind of authentic and human and yeah, cut through. Well, I would assume if it ran, it would cut through a lot of noise.
Great. Okay. And Derek.
Yeah, I was like muted permanently, perma muted, but thank you for unlocking that. So I reviewed a few of them. The one that stood out to me was Alex's. It was fun. There was a lot of these hit all of the main rubric points, which, obviously I think they would. That's what Leo is good at. But then going down deeper into it, there is a few different segments that were identified, like DTC, solo marketers, local businesses. And in there, they picked out local businesses to drill down on. Give a few examples of local businesses like bakeries, barbershops, dental practices, salons, and stuff like that. And then they picked a really cool kind of a main theme for their ads, this like 10,000 hours concept, 10,000 hours to master your skills, 0 hours to master your ads. And that resonated with like a thread that I was on today, I believe on Facebook. Like I'm in a bunch of these like local business Facebook groups, and I'm in a fencers group, like people who do fencing. And I saw today somebody post something like, hey, I just got pitched like $5,000 to $8,000 a month for like my marketing, and is that like a good price and whatever? And you just see this whole conversation of people saying like, oh yeah, like maybe it's gonna be expensive. This is what they do, blah blah blah. And I thought this was like, it just like resonated with what I had read earlier today, and so I really liked it for that reason. Just targeting that small, that local small business where like the guy who runs it probably just doesn't want to think about his marketing at all.
Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Okay, so now we're going to see who gets to take home the $500 prize. But first, a few plugs. So, just a little commercial break for you, like it's 2005 American Idol. Um, this is our next Luma event. So we're going to be having a LinkedIn ads workshop. And I don't want to spoil anything, but we do have somebody who is a very prominent figure in LinkedIn ads who travels all over the world doing these workshops. And we're really excited about that. So if you're interested in this, there's the QR code to sign up. We'll send you this information, but feel free to sign up now. It's another Luma event. Here are some additional plugs. So we have something called the Early Adopter Program here. It's where you can join our Slack community with all of us. So the whole team will be in there, and you can ask us questions, tell us about any support needs that you might have, give us feature requests that would be easier for you. A lot of our features are actually built directly from user feedback. So it's a great opportunity to just have hands-on help from the Leo team. If you're interested in that, just connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot me a message and we can get it set up. Um, Another thing too is because you're here tonight and you've stayed until the end, you get 1 month free of Leo. So here is the code. It's Meta 500. You'll have to write this down because um, you have 1 7-day trial, I believe, with your initial sign up. We'll also send this information to you. But once that's done, then you'll just use this code at your checkout and you won't be charged for 1 month. For additional Leo updates, you can find us here. These are a lot of links. So I would say the one that we are most active on is LinkedIn, which is this one down here. Um, and then we also have a new user support Slack workspace, which we would love to have everybody join. Okay, well, without further ado, we're going to reveal the winner now on the next slide. So you can have like a little drum roll with your own desk if you want to right now. But here it goes. And the winner is Alex with the 10,000 hours campaign. So great job, Alex. We thought this campaign just really resonated, particularly with like small businesses who want to hone in on their skills. Like in this example with the baker, we just kind of all felt like, wow, it's a powerful message. They can continue to refine their skills as a baker and they don't have to use all their resources in marketing. So, congrats. Nice work. Everybody did a great job. So, everybody should be proud of themselves. And we just really appreciate you guys coming out late on a Friday night. So, thanks so much.